Imagine a world where Hitler was still alive and waiting to strike. What would that look like? An alternate reality where Hitler didn't meet his end in 1945 but instead survived, biding his time for another assault. Sounds like the plot of a thrilling novel, doesn't it? This scenario might sound far-fetched, but let's explore it further. If Hitler had evaded death in 1945, his first task would have been to survive undetected. Imagine a world where this hypothesis was our reality. Let's delve into this alternative timeline and explore the chilling possibilities. In the immediate aftermath of World War II, Hitler, miraculously escaping death, would likely have gone into hiding. He might have found refuge in a remote location, far from the prying eyes of the world. In this seclusion, he would have had time to regroup, reflecting on the events that led to his presumed demise. As the years rolled by, Hitler would have been compelled to build a new regime in secret, a daunting task, given the global hostility towards his ideology. It would have required finding like-minded individuals, willing to risk everything for a man and a cause that the world believed to be long dead. In the shadows, Hitler could have slowly amassed a loyal following, a new army ready to rise when the time was right. In this parallel universe, Hitler's influence on global politics would have been subtle, yet impactful. He might have used his followers to infiltrate governments, sow discord, and destabilize economies. This strategy would have allowed him to weaken nations from within, creating the perfect conditions for his impending attack. Over the decades, Hitler would have been planning this attack meticulously, learning from his past mistakes. He would have kept himself updated with the advancements in warfare and weaponry, integrating them into his strategy. His end goal? To launch a surprise offensive that the world would not see coming, a final attempt to establish his vision of a global order. However, this mission would have not been without its challenges. Hitler would have had to contend with the increasing scrutiny and power of international organizations like the United Nations. He would have had to navigate around the rising influence of technology and global communication, which could have exposed his plans prematurely. This timeline paints a chilling picture. But how would the world have responded? Would we have been prepared for such an unforeseen threat, or would history have repeated itself in the most terrifying way? Let's explore these questions in our next segment. In our hypothetical scenario, the world would be unaware of Hitler's survival until it was too late. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, the sheer incredulity that would ripple across the world as news of Hitler's surprise attack spread. Nations would scramble, leaders would convene emergency meetings, and military forces would spring into action. Strategy rooms, once calm and orderly, would now be buzzing with activity and tense anticipation. Politically, this event would be a bombshell. Long-standing alliances may face the ultimate test, while old foes could become unexpected allies in the face of a common threat. The global political landscape as we know it could be irrevocably changed. Socially, the implications would be profound. People would question the security and intelligence systems that allowed such a surprise. The fear and uncertainty would be palpable, affecting every aspect of daily life. Conversations, both in person and online, would be dominated by this shocking revelation. Economically, the world would brace itself for potential impacts. Stock markets might plunge as the uncertainty looms. Trade routes could be disrupted, and economies might shift to a war footing, with industries mobilizing to support defensive efforts. In the midst of this global turmoil, one thing would be clear. The world, caught off guard and thrust into uncertainty, would have to unite to confront and overcome this unexpected threat. Such an event would undoubtedly send shockwaves around the globe. The idea of Hitler still being alive is purely hypothetical, but it's an interesting thought experiment. Let's circle back to the main points we've explored. We delved into a hypothetical timeline, imagining a world where Hitler managed to evade death and remained in hiding, plotting another attack. This scenario unraveled a series of global responses: shock, fear, and a united front against the resurgence of such an infamous figure. We hypothesized the potential strategies and the resulting consequences of Hitler's comeback. It would undoubtedly reignite old fears and traumas, causing global unrest. But it would also likely lead to a stronger global alliance, as nations unite to prevent the horrors of the past from repeating. This hypothetical situation also raises questions about the dynamics of online discourse. Would Godwin's law, the idea that Hitler or Nazi references increase as online discussions progress, hold true in this scenario? Or would it challenge this theory as discussions become more focused on this real, present threat? The impact of this scenario is not just about the potential political and social upheavals. It's also about the individual and collective memory of a time marked by atrocities and the fear of its possible recurrence. It forces us to confront our understanding of history, the lessons we've learned, and whether we are prepared to face such a threat again. While this scenario is purely speculative, it serves as a stark reminder of the horrors of the past and the importance of vigilance in the present.